Hi guys, welcome back to So She Reads. We're your hosts. I'm Anaya.
I'm Megan.
Today we have a very special episode planned. We are going to be deep diving into one of our personal favorite series, Lightlark.
Yay, cue applause.
Starting off today, we're going to be talking about the first book in this series called Lightlark. If you have not read this book, this episode may not be for you if you do not like spoilers, because there will be all the spoilers. Okay?
All of them, every time.
Yes. And if you have not read this book, we're going to give you a little bit of a description so that you can read this book because we thoroughly enjoyed it. We give our stamp of approval.
Yeah.
We think you should read it too. Go ahead, take it away.
Highly agree. Okay, I'm going to read from this because
we did take notes. We were very organized today, okay? We have all the things written down for you guys, so.
Yeah. Okay, so the no spoiler description, for those of you who have not read the book, but we're encouraging to read it, is Lightlark by Alex Aster is a popular young adult fantasy novel about a mysterious island that appears every 100 years to host a deadly competition among the 6 rulers. To break their realm's curses, the rulers must compete in a Centennial where one ruler must die, leading to themes of romance, deceit, and high-stakes survival.
Yes, it gives all the things. It is a really good YA romantasy, borderline on the YA though. So
yeah, it's so funny. Yesterday we just realized there was like a bonus chapter to one of the books that we didn't know, and we immediately like ran to my little library and like grabbed the book, and we stood there and read it together. And we were like, this is like, what kind of what in the YA is this going on? We were like, is this YA?
Yeah, no.
Like, yeah.
It's very borderline.
She did a great job.
No, she did a really good job of like descriptive language without it being overtly like grotesque, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. Like, and I feel like it wasn't forced.
Yeah. It just flowed.
It flowed very well. Oh my gosh, I was going to say that. It flowed really well.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point, you've been warned. Exit the premises, exit the video. We won't be mad if you don't want to get spoilers. Leave. If you do not care, welcome.
Stay, have fun, and then still read the book if you haven't, but then want to. If you like spoilers, Britt, shout out to Britt. I know she likes spoilers.
And Sammy.
Oh, Sammy too.
Yeah.
Then by all means, stay.
Stay. We would love to chat with you. But from this point forward,
spoilers.
Yes, let's get into it.
Okay, fun.
I'm actually so excited.
Me too.
Okay, I read this entire series in a week, by the way. So
yeah, and also, guys, okay, so this is what happened. We literally had one of those sessions where you sit down for 24 hours and read, right? And we brought multiple books because one of us is a non-decisive type of personality, okay? And she was just like, we both opened up Lightlark, and the first sentence, okay, she realized that it was in third point of view, and she closed the book and said no.
Literally, I was like, I'm good.
And it was because she had just previously read. I think it was that Court of Frost and Starlight kind of left a bad taste in her mouth, and so she was kind of like, no, I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
So I read the book. I actually read the series up to Sky Shade by myself, and then I kept hounding her about it, saying, you have to read it. It's so good. It's so good. You even forget that it's in third person point of view. And so she was like, okay, fine, I'll give it a try. And so she started it, and then the girl inhaled. Insert clip of Patrick with Krabby Patties. Inhaled the series, okay? And then come to find out, which was even the most fun part of this, was that come to find out that Alex Aster was coming into town.
Yes, for
and
Crown
was
Tide.
Doing a Crown Tide, like just Q&A session. And we were like immediately buying those tickets.
Yeah. So we ended up going to see her.
And she's
which
adorable.
Cool.
We love her.
Yeah.
She just is like 100% herself and very personable. And just, it wasn't that big of a crowd, but like, I felt like it was like, it gave the vibes that you wanted.
It was
you knew everybody read the book there. Which is
correct. Well, we were actually listening to it on the way down. That was a whole experience in itself.
We sped read Oro and Grimm, and then listened to Crown Tide. And like, we were in the car together. I was listening to it on the car, and she was listening to it on her phone. And we're at different parts, mind you, on top speed. And so we're gasping at different parts. It's so us in a car. It's us in a car. So, and we ran late, and I got us there in time. It was so good.
That was a day.
We were very impressed with ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyways, all that for there to be no spoilers in the interview.
Well, that's why we read it, because we were like, okay, sometimes they do give a little bit of spoilers, so like we didn't want to have like anything major spoiled for us.
Yeah, we didn't want to give it away.
But
it was worth it.
Yes, it was. Okay, so what made you want to read this series? Like, I know personally, I had seen it a few times on Book Talk, and obviously we all know, most of our recs come from Book Talk.
100%. But also, I feel like you and I are very particular. So, like, we have certain book talkers, right, that we actually trust. And then other ones were kind of just like, no, you did me wrong.
Yes.
You did me wrong, girl.
Oh my gosh, yes. So, and I'm sure you guys can relate. There's always that one book talker that recommends a book, and you're like, oh my god, okay, I'm gonna read it, and then
hell, I mean, we may recommend this book, and then you read it and be like, that was ass.
Literally.
Megan and I suck, you know? But you're here for the vibes, so so stay. So what made me want to read the book? Honestly, I was walking through Books A Million, and I just was like, I was walking by, and the cover got me.
Okay.
That it was like half a heart, like it was like a heart, and not half a heart, but it's like, yeah, it's like a heart with a flower, right? Whatever. And I was kind of just like, what the heck is this? And so then I read the, like, you know, blurb or whatever, and then I went on to TikTok. All of this happening at Books A Million on full loud because I don't have my headphones on me at the time. And I'm listening to someone's like kind of review, no spoiler review. And I was like, oh, I'm reading this.
Okay.
Oh, I'm 100% reading this. So that's actually what got me.
Interesting.
Which I do a lot, actually. I go to the bookstore and see what, like, and you shouldn't judge a book by the cover, but it depends, because sometimes I see a book that the cover is horrible and I still look it up because I'm like, oh, this is so distasteful. What's it about? Like, you know, like, I just want to know. Do you do that?
No.
Oh, okay. But yeah, but that's what made me want to read it. It was the non-spoiler review. And also I found her, like the author's
yeah, she's pretty active on TikTok for that.
And the character art. When I saw the character art,
yeah, the character art for this whole series is so freaking good. Whoever she commissioned, they did a fantastic job.
I love it.
It's some of my favorite character art that I've actually
it's so original,
ever seen. Yeah.
And honestly, it's like, it's not AI, so it's
just awesome. So good. Yeah, really good. Me, like I said, I had seen it pop up on TikTok a few times. At that point, I was kind of getting into like the whole book talk, whatever. And it was like, if you like this, read this. If you like this, read that. And this was one of the series. It was around the time that I was reading Trial of the Sun Queen.
Yeah, I remember.
And this kept popping up as like a book to read. So I was like, okay, if I see it at least 3 times, my interest is piqued, then I'm like, okay, let's see like a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Or sometimes the authors, it wasn't particularly with this one, but sometimes the author will do like their own blurb. It's like, if you want to read a romance about and like they give you all the info, and I'm like, I'm intrigued, and all of a sudden I'll be like, I'm reading this.
Yeah, that's happened to me before too, and actually sometimes I don't know it's the author.
Yeah, me either, until the end, and they're like, read my book, you know what I mean? And like, so that's kind of what happened with Daggermouth. It wasn't the author, but someone put a blurb.
I started it last night, by the way.
Love it. Okay. 6 out of 5. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that today. But I did. Somebody had put a blurb of it, and it was like a line from the book. And I said, oh, excuse me, what? And then I was like, what book is this? And somebody had commented. I was like, that was enough to get my interest peaked.
Yeah, no, but I feel like that's what it takes for us sometimes. Sometimes we need to have the feels behind it.
Yeah.
And so like me, even I feel like though, for contemporary romance books, I can read the description in the back or like, you know, whatever, the synopsis, and I'll be like, no.
Yeah.
No. But for fantasy, I kind of need a little more oomph.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. So do you think it was worth the hype that's like behind it?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I actually don't think there's enough hype behind it.
Actually, no, I agree.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Like I actually thoroughly enjoyed the series.
Yeah.
And I feel like not enough people talk, unless we missed the hype. Because these did come out a little bit a while ago, so maybe we're just behind the curve on this one.
But I mean, as they release, the hype is still there. I think that the hype is steady. But I will say that I feel like people hype up, and also it depends on what side of TikTok you're on, I guess, right? True. So I feel like they hype up a lot of the like smuttier books. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not really so much
YAs don't always get a lot
of love. They're kind of underplayed sometimes. Yeah. But honestly, we're here for the story. You know? If a book has smut in it, it's like, okay, cool, that's great. Love that. Yeah. But like even that can be kind of like, okay, but what is the story? Like
I agree.
Where are we?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I agree.
So and I think she did a great job of like, especially in the first book, specifically keeping it on pace, like keeping it on the plot.
actually, while we were doing our outline last night to kind of like go into details and refresh our memories, like we realized like there's so much, these books are small, right? Like, and when you look at it in comparison to like, you know, Akatar or whatever, this is not a thick book. What, like it's, you're looking at how many pages are in here? Like
maybe 500?
409. Okay. That's not a lot in terms of fantasy books or whatever.
No.
But so much details is packed into just this one novel that you're
She did great. She did great.
What the heck?
You did great.
Kudos. Seriously.
Okay, so let's get into the setting of the story. Okay.
It's pretty interesting, actually, the way that you set this up. So
I agree. Okay, so you have 6 realms. All right. Each realm suffers from a curse.
Yes.
So the following realms are the Wildlings, and they're cursed to kill anyone they fall in love with and only eat hearts. The Moonlings, and they're cursed that any moonling that's near the ocean will be attacked by the ocean during a full moon. Then you have the Sunlings, who perish if they're exposed to direct sunlight.
Okay.
And then you have Nightshades, who perish if they go outside at night. And then you have the Starlings that are cursed to die on their 25th birthday. Wild. And then you have Skylings, who lost their ability to fly.
Correct.
Mind you, where they live at is catered to flying.
Yes.
So it inconveniences them.
Yeah, and each realm has their own specific powers. So their curses kind of went based off of the powers and magical abilities that they possess.
It kind of used their strengths against them.
Correct.
Right.
So there was that, which I think the curses in themselves, some had lesser curses, some had you know, way more tragic curses. Personally, I think that the worst one were the Starlings to like die at the age of 25.
Yeah. I agree.
Because their knowledge, and she kind of goes into depth about this, not super in depth, but she goes into details about this in the book, where it's like they are so young that they don't really have a knowledge base anymore. Whereas like all the other,
it's like, what's the point?
Correct. And so like even though they can live for a really long time in this magical world, because they're so young, like they've lost a lot of their history and a lot of like the things that make them Starlings.
Yeah. And an important thing to know, guys, is that each ruler holds the fate of their entire lineage.
Yes.
Right.
If the ruler dies,
the entire
island dies.
So I think they either have to like kind of pass it down. So like imagine the Starlings, they have to wait until like they have to be prepared to give the kind of like the baton, so to speak, to somebody else before they approach their 25th birthday to die.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So
everybody goes to this Centennial hoping to save their people.
Yeah.
And also knowing, they go to this knowing that
one of them is going to die.
One of them is going to die, an entire island is going to be
because there was a prophecy that was given that like in order to break these curses that have now, this book takes place during the 5th Centennial. So it's been 500 years since these curses have been placed. And they said that in order to break the curse, one of them has to die. And then the same betrayal that was done initially during the first, like when these curses happen, needs to happen again in order for the curses to break.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people don't know. They're under the impression of what the curse, like what caused the curse to have happened. But none of them were, well, some of them were there, but like none of them caused it themselves. So it's kind of like on their ancestors.
Yes.
Okay. Let's kind of like break it down though. Okay. So if you had to suffer from like one of these curses, which one would you pick? Skyling?
Yeah, they had like the easiest one.
Oh yeah, that they can't fly. But you know what I think though? I think it's that they have this like need in them to fly, and they constantly have to like shove it down, because it's like they gain the ability at a certain point in life. And then like whether they're able to do it or not is different. So maybe the want is still there.
I mean, yes, but even Azul, I feel like, said it, like his realm suffered the least amount of casualties.
100%.
So I think if I was, and I love the way that they set up their realm, because like each realm is set up differently, and how the rulers decide to rule their realm is different. And so the Sky Isle, they run on a democracy.
Yeah.
So they elect the leader.
It's very important to you, I know.
I know. I just think it's super cool. Like I actually love the way that it's set up. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Yeah, and then I think that's the one I would have picked. My heart says Nightshade.
Okay, I would not want to be Nightshade, actually.
But No.
No. Okay, so if I had to choose, well, dang. Honestly, okay, if I had to be just a regular civilian living in one of these, I would definitely pick, it's weird, but I would pick the Sun Isle.
Really?
Yeah, because I as a king, I really do like the way Oro is.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the nightshades.
No. I would never live
However,
there
I
as like
would
a civilian.
the women there are treated horribly.
Yeah. No.
So I would not live there. If I was not the queen. Yeah. But yeah, I'd be a sunling. And even though it sucks that, like, you know, the island disappears and stuff like that, I think that and even though it does suck also that they don't have a democracy, I feel like they have a really good king that has
No,
their
they
best
do.
interests.
Oro is a really good king, I feel like. But I think in terms of like not
And
being
they
able
have
to
like a
go out.
normal life. Like they have like a
No,
market.
yeah, but they can't go out during the day.
That's fine. I'm more of I'll sleep during the day.
Yeah, but like that's like their whole thing. Like again, it's based on their magic. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't use your magic like that. I mean, you can, but you know what I mean. So I think again, for me, 100% Skyling.
Yeah. No, I would do sun.
All right, so let's actually jump into the Centennial itself.
Yeah.
So this is a competition that happens every 100 years. Book 1 takes place during the 5th Centennial.
Yeah.
Right, and each ruler has to present a trial.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go into like very brief details of each trial itself, which ruler presented what. So we have Grimm, who presented a duel, and he wanted to test the compatibility of each ruler. So that they're each paired up against each other, and they have to duel, and then obviously the winner of the duel wins that trial. We also have Azul, who decides to do a display of their magical abilities. So each ruler has to present what they're capable of, and their magical talents, which obviously Isla at this point doesn't have any, so she kind of freaks out a little bit. But she does her big one on that one. I'm not gonna lie. She comes up with her own little way to kind of show ability, but not necessarily magical, and find a little loophole.
She stirred the pot without giving too much away.
Yes. Then we also have Celeste, who then does a test of fear. And there is this magical mirror that when you place your hand on it, it shows you your biggest fear. And then the point of that trial was that you had to try to combat your biggest fear in the shortest amount of time. And the person that did that won.
Yeah. And then you have Isla, who she did basically a demonstration of either a unique ability or a creation that you made to add value, right?
Yes.
So I thought this was really smart because instead of violence or abilities in combat and stuff like that, she was like, okay, well, what do you bring to the table as a ruler?
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And I mean, she was extreme. She was like, I'm gonna set my hand on fire.
Yeah. Oh
shock
my
and awe.
God.
She did the shock and awe. If this was like class show and tell, she showed.
Yeah.
She freaking showed. And then so everybody was impressed with that because they saw the value that the wildlings added at that point. So there's that. Then you had Cleo, and she did a test of desire. So she gave each person kind of like they had to go through an ice maze, and they had to try and reach their goal without reaching for their selfish desires.
Correct.
Which was really smart. I thought it's very on brand for her.
Yes.
Very tactical.
Yes.
And then you have Oros. And Oros is the one that kind of like changed the pace of the Centennial itself. Because he at that point was like, okay, we're gonna do a test of truth. Right? So he made everybody use these cups with tea leaves in them, and after you finish the drink, it shows your secret.
Yeah.
And
the person
whoever revealed their secret, had the balls to reveal their secret, won the competition.
Yep.
And that trial specifically. And so everybody was like, nope, not it. And they just like smashed their cups. They're like, never, stomping on it. Whereas he was like, all right, I'm going to do my big one. And he made a huge reveal.
Yes.
So yeah, so those were the trials. And but the question is, did you think they were high stakes enough?
Personally, I don't know. I think, honestly, if I'm like, no.
Okay.
I don't think they're high stakes enough, actually. I think that it's kind of like it's catch-22, right? Because their entire realm's like ability of life depends on the ruler living. I guess yes, right? Not everything is going to be a combative, like fight to the death type trial, but to say that it is a deadly competition, I feel like is false advertising in a way, because it wasn't.
Yeah. No,
You know?
and I agree 100%. I think that it was appropriate. I think it wasn't high stakes what we're used to in fantasy books, but also it was the beginning half of the Centennial. You know, they were
Yeah.
why jump right into it? They did something light. And I think that it kind of, you as the reader, you're going into it thinking that this is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be trials. But I like the fact that she didn't do it, because even as reading it, you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. It really is just not bad. But then she switches it up.
Yeah.
And then the attention is drawn from the trials and the Centennial to the bigger picture.
Right, which is the curse.
So I feel like it made sense.
It did. You know, when you look at it as like a
Overall.
bird level, you know, view, yes. But from what we're used to, I feel like no, I actually kind of wish it was a little bit more high stakes in that regard.
I was actually really satisfied, which is very on brand for us.
Yeah.
One of us is gonna have an issue with the other one's like, no,
Always.
I didn't mind it at all.
Always.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the plot twist.
Okay. So there are a ton of plot twists in this book. There's a lot of different subplots going on within the major plot. So there's a lot of little things, a lot of twists, really. The first major one ish being the fact that Celeste and Isla were friends. So we go into this, she's not really supposed to have any friends or befriend anyone. And you come to find out that Celeste and Isla are friends. And not only are they friends, they've been friends for years. And they have an entire plan to essentially break their realm's curses outside of the Centennial. They said, hopefully the Centennial works, but we're not going to risk that and leave that up to chance. We want to figure something out ourselves.
Yeah, they're like, we have it the worst, so we might as well like come up with something. We can't leave it up to these people.
Correct.
Because also, like, no matter what, if one of them dies at the Centennial, they're affected. Correct. And it sucks. And then if none of them die, they're still affected, because Celeste will still die at 25, and then Isla has no magic to put into her island. So at this point, her people are going to suffer.
Correct.
They're already suffering.
Correct.
So yeah.
So there's that. And then the second big one that happens pretty early on is the truth that is revealed during Oro's trial, which is the fact that he's actually dying.
Yeah.
And that was like a huge thing, because he's the ruler of Lightlark. So if he dies, they're pretty much all dead.
Change the game, because at this point, instead of just focusing on the trials, he's like, guys, get it together.
Yeah.
Because now I need all hands on deck.
Yes.
And
so
so he's like, because what are you guys gonna do if Lightlark goes to hell?
Yeah. And it was like a really interesting point, because the focus then now shifts, like, okay, this is temporary, this Centennial, like, and then it was really like, this Centennial is the only chance we have.
We're all together.
And
the island is visible. Yeah.
Yeah, like we literally have this one and that's it. If this curse does not break during this Centennial, we're all dead.
I was kind of upset that he waited so long. I was low-key upset that he waited so long to tell them. I'm like, you say that the moment they get there. The moment, hey guys, how are you? I'm dying. We need a search party for me later. Like, you know, I think that would have been, but I mean, for dramatic effect,
of
right?
Course.
I think it was cool. And he's like, no, when should I do this? No. Yeah, so I will say, though, it was interesting, though, because it being a plot twist of its own, I like the way that she's paced the plot twists, right? And also, it didn't feel like too much.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? And then also, I like the way that, like, it made sense at that point why the trials weren't so high stakes.
Yeah.
Because it was like, wow, we actually have bigger problems going on. And it very much was like, wow, so, like, every ruler has something happening. You know what I mean? Not just Isla and Celeste. He also, and it's like an even bigger one.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because Isla's like, another thing to add to my list. Another thing. Because then he chooses her to be his partner. And now he's like, no, it's our problem.
Yeah. Because
you're a wildling, you need to help me find the heart of Lightlark. And she's like, oh, yeah, no, sure. No magic. She's like, joke's on him. When we get there, none of the plants are going to cooperate. We're screwed.
And there was like another twist. They have a whole dinner and he tells them, great, I'm switching things up. I'm changing my partner. She doesn't have powers. And he reveals to everyone she's powerless. And that was like the biggest betrayal to her.
That was like a big move.
That was
big chess move.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And you're reading it and you're like, because at this point you're really starting to like Oro, because you're like, okay, you see more of him.
I was going to make such a joke. I was going to be like, nothing men do surprise me anymore.
I was like, what?
I'm kidding.
Well, because really, he gives golden retriever vibes in this. You know, like I would expect this from Grimm, right? Like as you're reading this story, like Grimm's that asshole kind of a guy who has every ulterior motive, whatever. Oro is perceived to be just this, again, kind-hearted, good ruler.
Well, I will say he was kind of an asshole to her while they were searching through the island.
Yes,
but I feel like it's like forced. I feel like she thought that they were developing some sort of like at least friendship.
Yeah, and trust. Like she was like starting to like him. And as a reader, you grow to like him. Initially, you're kind of a little bit like, you don't really know who to trust in this, right?
Yeah.
So you see his character, you see the type of ruler that he is, you see like who he is at his core. So you, as a reader, also develop a trust with this character. So for him to reveal that, I was like,
but it also makes total sense, though. It also makes total sense. It's like, yeah, I know you told me not to say anything, but I'm dying. And we need the heart of Lightlark. I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. He's like, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I need to do for my people. Yeah. That's my job. So, yeah, I was just like, of course he did this. I mean, I was shocked, but I was like, afterwards, you know, the stand-up act in my head was like, nothing they do like that. But at the end of the day, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And again, I think she's just so good at doing that.
Yeah.
Like, it makes logical sense to do it, even if it hurts.
Yeah, 100%. So, you know, she's betrayed all of this stuff. She then feels like her only ally at this point is now Celeste and Grimm. And so you know, we're obviously breezing past a lot of things because we could be here for hours discussing. But at this point now, she's like, okay, great. We found the bond breaker, like all of these things. Her plan with Celeste is in motion. And she's like, hey, she meets up with her and she's like, hey, like, can we save Grimm too? And this is
when she finds out, well, he reveals to her that him and her, which is Grimm and Isla, had a year-long relationship before the Centennial was taking place.
And that he erased her memories.
Yeah. He erased her memories because of the plan that they were going to have in motion for the Centennial, and the fact that it was going to be very hard for them to fake not knowing each other when they had this connection with each other. Which is hilarious because it's like, as soon as they got there, he came through with like, hey, you want to go have some chocolate? Like, you know, like, in every corner, let's go dance together. Like, saving her in the moonlight. Yeah. Like, all these, like, different moments. And you're kind of just like, you're really bad at keeping the secrets.
Yeah, keeping it cool. Play it cool, dude.
And it's hilarious to me because as soon as they were in close proximity, and the fact that he just kept presenting himself at every opportunity is when it started triggering the dreams she was having.
Yeah.
So he knew exactly what he was doing.
Of course.
Very grim of him.
Of course. Okay? He loved her.
It like, yeah, but it's so funny because again, the way that she did it was just like, there's so much going on.
That you really think that it's like, okay, maybe they're dreams. Maybe he has a power that like maybe he's giving memory. Like, like maybe he's just trying to like tease her. Like,
or mess with her head because they're opponents or something.
So like you really are like, as a reader, you're like, first of all, we love you, but we don't have time for this. So you kind of brush it off as like, okay, well, there may be something there. Like, oh, she clearly feels something for him. But like, what's happening? But not enough because you're like, everyone's dying. What's going to happen?
Yeah, you're kind of like, okay, again, if you're a fantasy reader, you kind of try to hold on to certain information to see if it has any sort of significance later on, or while you're reading, it presents itself, right? Yeah. So, but here's my thing. I kind of felt like, no, he means business when he gave her the necklace.
Yeah.
That's when I was kind of like, I immediately removed him as an enemy.
Yeah, I agree. And when he was like, hey, here's the necklace. If you touch it, I'll be there. Like wherever.
Exactly.
And honestly, it's true. It's when he moved up in the scales for me. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And then also like, so at this point, right? Again, at this point, this is when the next plot twist started coming into play for me as I was reading, right? So what was the next plot twist? The biggest plot twist.
The biggest plot twist of them all was that Celeste is not Celeste. She's actually Aurora. Yeah. She's one of the original founding rulers. And she's the one that caused the curse on everything.
That hoe bag.
Ugh. Double crossing, two timing. Yeah.
So here's my thing though, right? This is when it started to make sense to me, because they kept her in the back so much.
Yeah.
So much. And so, again, as a fantasy reader, I'm kind of like, dude, Isla's getting attacked. Yeah. She's sneaking into places. She's going on these quests. She has like I'm like, what are you doing, Celeste? You're sitting back chilling. Just chilling and nothing's happening to you. And honestly, you're kind of a dumb bitch. And then she gets attacked. Mind you, Celeste gets attacked. Yeah. And also I was kind of just like, somebody saw her as a big enough threat. At this point, they can't attack each other, right?
Yeah.
So someone saw her as a big enough threat, and somebody was looking where you were preoccupied.
Yeah. And honestly, I didn't even pick up on it then. I was just like, oh my God, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then you find out that it's Azul, that was another twist. You're like, what the, like, Azul of all the people, why would he do something
He's like so
that?
level-headed. He was like, no, you must die.
Yeah, like, right. And then and at this point, you like start questioning Azul, really, because Isla has like overheard conversations. She's been like sneaking around, So she overhears a conversation between him and Oro, where he's like, no, they have to die, So
and she's like, oh, you're in cahoots.
Correct.
You guys probably are friends too. You probably portaled into his room by mistake one day also. I was like, let's go take a flight. Oh, that's right, you can't. Like,
so really, like you really are just kind of like, as a reader, thrown everywhere.
Yeah.
But that was the biggest twist. The biggest twist was that.
That's when I started. That's when I started saying, you know something.
Yeah.
Like something's up with this girl. And then so at this point, during the time where they were looking for the heart of Lightlark, I started trusting Oro.
Yeah.
And then when Grimm gave her the necklace, and even a little bit before that, I want to say, I was like, you know, even though like his character being like being displayed as much as it was, because they didn't reveal too much of Grimm in this book
at all,
to be honest. I was kind of just like, no, he's a man who knows what he wants, kind of, and if he's gonna screw him over, he's gonna screw him over at the correct moment, like at the moment. But I started trusting him somewhat too. I was like, you know what, I'm not getting the bad vibes from you. Whereas during this time, I was not even thinking about Celeste in general.
Yeah.
Right. And even my feelings on Cleo started like not being important to me. Yeah. And I actually started developing almost a little bit of trust for Azul. A little bit.
Yeah.
Just because like, again, I tend to like go on the side of logic. And I feel like he's like one of those characters that she wrote to kind of present that way, right?
Just a very level-headed ruler, and honestly, I love. Exactly. He's one of my favorites. I love them all. It's hard to pick. You truly do end up loving them all, obviously, except Celeste.
And here's the other thing, though, is that the more you start trusting Oro, if he's keeping that company, you kind of start to trust who those he's in company with. And then when he does that big one and he kind of turns on Isla, you're kind of just like, either this is for a really big reason or you're such an a-hole.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then you find out, okay, so Celeste's betrayal, that was like the biggest one. Obviously, she's actually Aurora. Turns out she's the one that caused these curses. But then it's just so much is happening. Like, in order to break the curse, Isla has to kill Celeste.
Yeah.
But you come to find out, this point, Oro's in love with Isla, and so is Grimm.
Yeah.
And that plays a big role too, because in this world, if you love each other, you can share magic.
Which is dangerous.
Yes. So that's why they don't really let, like...
They keep their guards up.
Correct. And so, whatever, Isla does end up killing Celeste.
Sucker.
She thought that she wasn't gonna, like, whatever.
She didn't have it in her.
Right.
Yeah.
She does it, obviously, for the good of her people. And, you know, it was just a shit show.
But at this point, once she kills her, now you realize, like, it's revealed that she, in fact, does have magic. And so now she has magic, a lot of magic. And on top of that, now she inherits Celeste's magic as well.
Yes, because
and
she killed
the rule of her people.
Yes, so she kills her with the bond breaker, which essentially gives her, the person who wields it, that power. It essentially ends up siphoning it. So she was able to obtain all of Celeste's power. So now the Starlings are not going to die.
Exactly.
Because Isla now rules over them too.
Now that at this point, though, when it's revealed that she has access to their magic, right?
It's what like a big thing.
What were your thoughts on it, though? Like,
I was just like, holy shit!
Like, I knew it. I knew that, like,
I knew that they were in love with her.
The moment I saw this love triangle developing,
let's talk about this love triangle.
First of all, what team did you know? What team you were going to be on? Because I knew,
of course.
And at what point did you know?
Sight one. Okay, I am Team Grimm
Chapter 1.
from the jump. As soon as he entered the chat and they said dark hair, I said, that's the one. That is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early on, when he was already like in the market and like the whole
the
he
chocolate.
was on to her but didn't tell anybody, and like I was kind of like, Team Grimm. Okay.
No, 1,000%.
Team Grimm.
1,000%. And I really didn't. But then this is the thing.
Then Oro.
Yes. And I didn't think I was gonna like him.
No,
because I hate love
like
triangles.
his character.
But she makes it fucking
hard.
Difficult.
Yeah.
You are literally there like, shit, they're both great.
They're so good.
They're so different, but they're so great.
Yeah.
And you really tend to like, you really grow an affection for Oro. Like you tend to you turn to love him and grow, like he grows on you as a character.
Also, you start to accept the fact that he might be the MMC.
Yes.
Because honestly, you're like, all right, we know who the FMC is. Who the hell is the MMC?
Yes.
Because, and then when you start realizing that there's gonna be a love child, obviously there's like 2 MMCs at this point, but you're like, but who's gonna be the ultimate person, right? And you want answers now, which I really thought it was cool that she kind of delayed it.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I knew I was Team Grimm from the rip, and it wasn't even the whole like dark situation and stuff like that. I was just like, no, I'm. This is the vibe, you know, because like she gets nervous, and she was like,
of course,
and also the dreams, and stuff like
and
that.
when she was having the dreams, I was like, no,
was
come on, why are
already
you
seeing
denying?
him.
Like, yeah,
she was already seeing him in that light.
Yeah.
Versus Oro, I felt like she was kind of just like I feel like they had a really deep connection.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to accept the fact that this may be the MMC.
Yeah.
And I was already saying, oh, I'm gonna hate it because my type of MMC is like tall, dark, and handsome vibes.
Of course.
Right? So I was just like, oh, I hate it when they do a blonde, like, but I was like, okay, but I'll have to accept it because I really do like his character.
Of course.
And he's that guy too. He really is. So they're very much like, neck and neck. They're very much neck and neck, yeah.
So talking about that, okay. All right, let's get into the love triangle a little bit because that was just the of this book. Okay, obviously first impressions, that was that. Like we loved them.
Yeah.
I actually didn't like Oro at first.
No, I didn't have any opinions on him.
Yeah, it was just more like
first.
That's the thing. Yeah, I wasn't like. I was just kind of like, let's see where this goes.
But I did feel like he was trying to purposely not like develop any type of friendship with her. Like I felt like he was very much like, oh, I know what you're about.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah, and honestly, it was one of those things where it was just kind of like, okay, Grimm at this point had already kind of like edged himself in there just a little bit.
Grimm was coming on strong.
Yeah, which honestly,
I was kind of like, either he's a cocky mother effer or like, but then as time started going and he started showing like he cared more by her safety and stuff like that, I was kind of like, okay, that's when I started characterizing him as like, okay, like you're good.
Yeah.
You're not deceiving. In my head, I was like, he's not really deceiving her, but I was like, but also they are still opponents. So maybe he's like, he has ulterior motives, maybe something along those lines. Yeah.
Let's talk about Oro and Isla's relationship a little bit. Let's get into it. It's classified as an enemies to lovers, slow burn. Okay. Do you think it actually is an enemies to lovers? And then 2, do you feel like the relationship that they built was the trust that they built was out of necessity or it was genuine?
I think it started off as necessity and then became genuine. And I really liked the flow of it because I felt like they couldn't help it.
Okay.
I believe in having like multiple soulmates. Not every one of them is romantic, right?
Yeah.
But I felt like when you meet someone and you click. And sometimes you meet people and you're like, oh, that person's going to be such like this, but they pleasantly surprise you. Yeah. Or their type of being matches with your type of being. So again, sometimes when I'm reading fantasy books, I really like the realism in it. And I felt like so I was just like, that's why when I was like, man, I'm probably going to have to accept that he could potentially be the one that she picks. I was kind of just like, you know what though? The trajectory of their relationship was actually nice. Yeah. I didn't mind it at all. But as far as like enemies to lover, I mean, as the type of like reader that I am and used to reading enemies to lovers, I think it was light. Yeah, very light. It
was more like
skepticism. I feel like
it was not a true traditional enemies to lovers.
Yeah, like they weren't trying to kill each other. Yeah. So that to me is enemies to lovers.
Agreed.
Like, I mean, just not like you because your company does better than mine. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever. That's not a big deal. But so it wasn't high stakes enemies to lovers.
No.
It was just like we could potentially be enemies, and I don't know where you're coming from.
Correct.
So you're my enemy until you're proven to be my ally.
Correct. Yeah.
Did I just
no,
word vomit all the like the points?
No, it makes sense. To me, that was like how I felt too. I also felt, I don't know, I feel like at least in book 1, it was out of necessity. And I didn't feel like it got to a point
like the book we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel, no, you're good. I didn't feel like even by the end of book 1 where it was like, okay, you love her, but do you?
No, I agree. I think that but like also she did a good job of explaining, like almost like explaining his, not so much in depth of like him as a person, but like the fact that he's never let anybody in.
Yeah, so I think for me that's why it was a little bit more out of like, it didn't feel super genuine, but at least by the end of book 1 for me.
Yeah, but also it was like, because again, them getting to know each other, for us that we read a lot of like love and like a lot of things, we're like, it's giving friend.
Yes.
And whereas Grim was coming on strong romantically.
Correct.
So that's why. So yeah, I do think that.
I think it was like, for me, it felt like, okay, you love her more, maybe like you love her as a person, like as a friend, but it didn't give a romantic kind of love. At least for me, by the end of 1.
For me, I wasn't surprised that he loved her. I was surprised that she loved him back.
Yes.
That's what I was just kind of like, really?
Yes.
But really? Who are you dreaming about though, girlfriend? Who is you dreaming about?
That part.
Right? That's what was for me. I'm like, any guy could fall in love. But you're in love with him. I mean, what's not to fall in love with? She's beautiful.
Yeah, of course.
Things,
no,
like,
of course. And I think that was the biggest thing for me too. Yeah, I was like, okay, wait, it's reciprocated? I'm confused.
Yeah, like,
you were just asking to save Grim. What are you talking about?
I didn't hear anything about oral. I did not hear anything about oral.
Not a damn thing.
Okay, so let's get into Grim, right? Okay. So, do you feel like the pacing of their relationship gave away the fact that they had a history?
Yes and no. So I feel like, reading it in the beginning, him being like, hey, like blah, 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 taking her out for chocolate, being whatever, I was like, this is weird. But it didn't like, it was like, it rang a small alarm, but not like enough to be like, whoa, read into that. You know what I mean? I think once it was revealed, it was like, oh, fucking course, duh, that makes sense. But I was just kind of like, okay, is it going to be one of these books? I've also read books where it's like low-key, like love at first sight type vibe. I have to say, when you're a reader and you read books, you're on edge. Yes. You're like, do I trust you? Do I not trust you? Why do you want me to trust you? You are on edge like the characters. You're like a skeptic. I'm at the Centennial too, and I'm like, I don't trust none of you fools. I don't trust none of you. You don't know what I'm here to. Literally. So for me, it was like, okay, I've read love at first sight type vibes. And I was like, oh, is she going to do kind of one of those where it's like, he's just coming on strong. And I'm like, okay, we're going to get no subtext. It's just going to be like, they're in love. And I was like, that was kind of weird. But then it was like, okay, she has a little bit of skepticism. But then at some point you're like, okay, girl, like you're dreaming about him. Like, what are you doing? What are you going to do about it? And then when it was revealed, I was like, of course, this makes sense. So I feel like that's why it was like a yes and no, at least for me. But what about for you?
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like if I reread it, I'm gonna be like, why didn't I know? Why did I not notice? Yes. Right? And I love that, but I hate it because it makes me feel stupid. Yeah, I'm like, you read enough books to get it together.
We're so hard on ourselves.
I'm telling you, you're like so. But again, we go into it very like on edge because you're like, who do I trust? Who do I not trust? And you kind of like take items and you put it away for later. Yeah. By the time it's revealed, there's so many other things that were revealed that you're kind of just like, and of course I missed that one because I'm so preoccupied with this one dying and this one's a bad person. You're not who you say you are. Case of mistaken identity. It's a whole thing. So there's so many things. So at this point, I'm kind of just like, you know what? The pace was actually not bad. Yeah, the pace was not bad. I feel like she did the groundwork she needed to do in order for us to make sense to us when it finally is revealed. Yeah. So you're not like, really? You're just like, of course, wow, I can't believe. For those of us who don't kind of like put away the Easter eggs, or you're just like, what the, wow, that makes so much sense. And for those of us who are hard on ourselves, you're just like, I should have freaking known. What the actual F? I think that it was a good pace for it. And I'm mad at myself that I felt like I felt like at some point I started realizing it, but I was like, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's so much has been revealed.
Yeah, you're like,
that
damn it.
You should have caught it on earlier, you dumb girl.
I know, 100%.
Right?
100%.
So like, it's in my notes probably.
Yeah.
Because you guys know I write notes and all of the as I'm going, and they're not sophisticated notes,
At all.
but they're
hilarious.
But yeah.
So then, do you feel like Isla was leaning more one way or the other throughout the book? Or do you feel like she was genuinely caught in the middle, at least in book 1?
I don't feel like she was leaning one. I feel like, again, like I said, I feel like there was a division between the two, because Grimm was giving romantic vibes, whereas Oro was giving like a normal, genuine build up of a relationship, right? It's like, let's get to know each other. Do I trust you? Can you trust me? You know, and then like,
but
oh my God, towards the end,
Grimm had a history with her and Oro didn't.
Yeah.
So we're seeing the beginning foundations of her relationship with Oro, but really with Grimm, baby, we've been in this for a year.
But I don't feel like she wasn't focused on that either. Isla was not focused on like, oh, who am I gonna end up with? She was like, I need my people not to die.
Yeah.
We need to save Lightlark. Yeah. And also, why does this guy keep coming up in my dreams? But also, I can't stand this guy, but you know what? I kind of trust him.
Yeah.
So for me, I was kind of just like, I knew we see the love triangle developing, but you're like, I'm actually kind of glad that it's not the main focus in the book either.
100%.
So
I think she did a good job of that too. I feel like Isla's body was leaning one way, but her brain was leaning another.
Yeah.
You know, and that genuinely is the fault of the fact that her memories are gone.
Yeah.
You know? I obviously, had she had her memories, the relationship with Oro would have never even developed.
Probably not.
You know? But I think it was just really cool. I think that it was like, holy shit, he is the MMC.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, they're both MMCs.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where you were just like, obviously, like, we're Team Grimm, so we were like, yes,
he's a contender. Like,
he's the one.
At that point, by the end of book 1, I was like, he's the one.
Yeah.
In my head, right? It's so funny though, because that's based off of nothing. Solely vibes.
Like,
right?
Literally.
Solely vibes. And I was just like, you know how mad I was gonna be if by book whatever, when it's revealed, I said this to myself, that like, because I knew at the point where I was reading it, Skyshade had come out already, and the next book was gonna be coming out soon. And so I was kind of like, if I get past Skyshade and I'm wrong about this feeling, I'm gonna be pissed. So that's why I was really happy, like when I went directly into book 2, because I was starving, like I needed to know, and I was just like, and
she makes you wait for it, man.
She really does, and honestly though, I'm not mad at it, because I really did like the story was enough. The story was good enough that I was entertained by it, and I wanted to know what the heck was happening.
And honestly, like obviously we're not getting into the rest of them today, but she genuinely does such a good job. Like, it was one of those where, like, as a reader, I was like, who? Like, obviously I am Team Grimm, but there were moments when I was like, but Oro, you know what I mean? And she does a good job of making you love both of them, where you're like, shit, who is she gonna pick?
Yeah. And again, I don't want to get into book 2, but in book 2, it makes it even, at that point, it's kind of like a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're hyper aware of the fact that now the love interests are a bigger factor.
Yeah, because it pivots. The storyline pivots a little bit, because at this point now the curses are broken, so we're not really focused on like
the Centennial. And
all of this. Now stuff. It's a little bit more of like her romantic life of like, okay, wait, now she's lost not only just the memories of Grimm for a year, but like her memories for a year.
Yeah. So the memories also, like, they go into how her and Celeste really like met and how the plan developed and everything. So you're entertained by a lot of that as well. And then with Oro, I will say though that like he was very consistent how he was in book 1. Yeah. He as a character. So yeah. We're both in agreement that we feel like, as far as her leaning one way or another, it was very much like not
in the middle
as important. They didn't make it so pronounced in this book, which is fine, and it was good, right? But at this point, you know that now that's where the attention will shift at some point, right? But the ending itself, right? Because of this being revealed, and because of Celeste revealing the fact that she was the person who caused the curse, and she in fact was not Celeste, she was Aurora, and the fact that she was plotting against Isla, right? Now Isla feels like the two people that had her back betrayed her. So she's pissed.
Yeah.
But it's so funny though, because at that point, when everything's said and done, she still does have, it's so funny how like, it's like, oh, it's love. They're calling it love, right? So she has love for Grimm, but she also has love for Oro. And it's being reciprocated. Like they love her because she can access their powers and vice versa, right? Yeah. So when this happens, so like he knows that she's pissed. Yeah. He knows that she's pissed. And at this point,
she chooses to stay.
She chooses to stay
with Oro
because she's
leaves.
that mad.
Yeah.
That she knows that she lost a year of her life of memories.
Yeah. And that's like her biggest thing. She never had anybody like growing up. So like it was the fact that like I had a love, like we had a whole life.
And you robbed me of it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't, and the problem is right now, so she doesn't know why.
Right.
So
and she just like knows you were in cahoots with my best friend, who I thought it was not even my best friend.
How much cahoots were you in on this?
Yeah, you know? And like I genuinely can't even look at you right now. Yeah. So I'm staying here and I'm not going back.
Yep. Well, I get it together.
Yeah, and that's the cliffhanger that book 1 ends on.
Exactly.
And it was like, what the fuck?
So much happened. Yeah. And you know what? Again, that's very on brand for books, right? Especially fantasy books, with the last 100 pages or even sometimes the last couple of chapters. Yeah. It's just like boom, 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 boom. And I ate it up.
No, I mean, inhaled.
Yeah.
I read that book in what, like 2-3 days? Like I was obsessed.
Yeah, she called me screaming.
Yeah, I was like, literally, always.
Yeah.
But I think for sure it was just well paced. It kept you engaged every time. You were like, you thought you knew what was happening. She was like, boom, no.
And it was a cliffhanger, but not a bad cliffhanger. It was like, okay, cool, we achieved what we needed to achieve in this. Now it leaves room for like, okay, so now where do we go from here? Yeah. And now you're like, okay, it opened up to like, okay, now we need to find out what happened in that year.
Yeah.
And also what's going to happen between you and Oro and you and Grimm. And then also like, now you do know you have powers and 100%. Now the curse is broken. So what is life going to look like after, now that the curse is broken?
100%.
Right. So I really liked it. And it was a good opening for book 2.
I agree. That is a wrap on episode 1 of Lightlark, book 1. We hope that you like this different review style episode from us. We thoroughly enjoyed going over this book. Honestly, it made me want to reread it, which I will be doing at some point.
Yeah. When the next book comes out, I'm going to do the reread. But I will say this, guys. If you haven't read it and you stood for the spoilers because you're okay with that, we did leave out a lot of meat.
Yeah, there's so much.
Because this would have been a way longer episode.
1000%.
But we left out a lot of the meat. So there's still areas where you're going to be caught by surprise and you're going to be happy. And so I think, but it's
definitely still worth the read, regardless of where you're at. If you did it, well, I mean, obviously, if you didn't watch it, then makes no difference here. But if you did stay, like she said, we left out. There's just, like we talked about, there's plot twist upon plot twist, subplot upon subplot. So we really couldn't go into.
Even if we wanted to.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It'd be a 3-hour episode. And quite frankly, I don't have the time to edit that. But in all seriousness, we really do hope that you enjoyed it. We enjoyed talking about this. We love diving into our favorite book series. And this is another one in the few that we have read together that we both love together. So
yeah, and we actually realized that us studying it to go through and prepare for this episode made us like it even more so.
Yeah.
And also, we're going to be recording those sessions because if you were to hear the nonsense, how we get off topic, like, it is just so funny.
Just a behind the scenes of us prepping.
Okay, so
let us know if you want to see that, because honestly,
please let us know, because I think it's so funny.
We're hilarious.
We think it's funny, but it may not be. But it was just like, it's so funny because we sat down to do this outline, and it took us 4 hours because in between this, we ate some chips, we got up, we came to the library a couple times.
Twice.
And for those of you who think this is a background,
it's not. This is literally her
library
collection.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
we pulled out our journals and discussed all the different types of journals
we have, if they're all filled out, like what kind of journals we get for certain things, like ridiculous things. And then we would do some work regarding this and totally go off track, go over our TBR for the 100th time this year, even though we're just in March. It's so funny.
Man,
it was, and my husband was like, "You need to record this."
Yeah,
we were like, "You should hear how confident we are. We're gonna start at 10 in the morning, definitely started at 12:30.
12.
It's so funny because I had said 12:30 rolls around, and that's exactly the time we started.
No, and actually it was funny because Jay comes into the kitchen and we're like 10 o'clock, not 10:30, 10 o'clock. And she was like, and that's the moment he looked at us and said, they're liars.
Yeah.
And truthfully,
It's okay though.
it's all right. It's just our dynamic.
I know.
It really is. Well, we will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Do you like that?
You want to do one more just in case?
Sure.
Did you like it?
I didn't mind it.
You didn't like it. You didn't like it. You didn't like it. It's okay. I know you so well.
I didn't mind it.
If you ask, you're like, you need some guarantees.
It's fine. It's fine. We're good.
All right, guys.
Finally.
Oh, I know.
Finally.
Jay ate lunch without me.
You told him to.
I know.